Well, a couple of friends of mine are having a baby, and they need a bed for the baby to sleep in. So I'm going to make them this thing. I don't know if you'd call it a cradle or what, but this particular piece, I need two pieces like this that are identical. And I managed to find 3 suitable pieces for the long lengths and then 2 more for the rounded corners, and I joined them together. And you know that's I forget the name of that joint. It's not a mortise and tenon because 2 sides of the joint are exposed. But it's not a lap joint, it's something else. I'll find out later. So I got lucky. I had extra beech from that project I made for the furniture guy, and I thought I had enough to pull this off, you know, so that the top and bottom rails would be identical. But unfortunately, all I have left is these 3 pieces, and in order to make the bends, I think I'm going to have to use 2 pieces. We're going to scrounge through the scrap bin and see what we can muster up. Whatever we find is what we're going to have to work with. What I did first was I made this template out of plywood, and that'll serve to guide me in the formation of 2 identical top and bottom rails, and it will also serve for the shaper bit of the router to run along and copy that shape onto this larger wood. So now I can lay it out, draw my lines, and get started. Step 1, I believe, is run these 3 pieces through the planer so that they're all the same thickness. That way when I set up the saw to do joints, the results will all be identical. Okay, in order to make this curve here, we're going to need 2 pieces of wood, because my biggest one, you can see that's been kicking around in the garden, but it's beech. I think the dog got it. It won't make that span. So that would have been a 45-degree cut and here, and then just tracing an arc onto it. But instead we're going to take 45 degrees, cut that in half, and cut each one of these at 22.5 degrees and do the same on the other side. Damn mosquito. Got him. So that's what we'll do now. So the joinery on these ones are, you know, you can see that this piece of wood is long enough to have a tongue or a tenon that protrudes into the next one. Unfortunately, I ran out of wood that's big enough to do that, so I got a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of wood per bend, and I'm not going to be able to make a joint like that. But what I can do is cut a notch out of each one and then shove a piece in there, which will mimic the function of the tenon. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay. That's just an example of those joints, and I'm putting a good amount of stress on it, and it's not breaking. For the uprights, I need to take all of these and cut tenons on the ends of them so that they can fit into the mortises, which I'm going to carve into these babies. And I made a jig to hold them all exactly as I want them. They're all tightly snug in so they can't move. And the top piece there is sanded so that the center of it is thicker than the two sides, which gives a nice flex as it goes down to make sure they're all pushed down equally. Here comes pass number one, and we're going to see if we can pull it off. Okay, looking good. That looks like that's going to do the job. Another reason I set it up this way is because the thicknesses of these rails are not 100% exact because of the sanding and shaping I did. And my bearing follows this fence, so over here it cut off like 1 millimeter, but over here it cut off, say 2.5 or 3 millimeters. Now I turn them all over and do it again, and I'll have tenons that are exactly the same size.
In 2011. A total of 28 vessels were hijacked with 585 crew members taken hostage and 6 killed during 2012. That's according to data compiled by the London-based Bureau's Piracy Reporting Center in Malaysia. The Bureau said only 75 attacks were reported off Somalia and in the Gulf of Aden, down from 237 cases in 2011. Somali pirates hijacked.
Alright, that's great. So now all we got to do is repeat that 40 more times, and then we'll jump to the next scene. I won't bore you with that.